The recent incident involving Niger's suspension of the BBC highlights the impact of false reporting on Africa. Niger accused the BBC of spreading false news about an extremist attack, reflecting a broader pattern of misinformation. This essay examines the Niger BBC case, the historical context of Western media's portrayal of Africa, and the consequences of disinformation. The digital age, while offering unprecedented access to information, has also become a breeding ground for misinformation. Social media platforms can amplify false narratives at an alarming rate, particularly in Africa, where reliable information is often limited. The Niger BBC incident serves as a stark reminder of the potential harm that false reporting can inflict on nations. In December 2024, Niger suspended the BBC for 3 months, accusing it of spreading false news and misinformation that could destabilize the region. The suspension stemmed from a BBC report claiming that over 90 soldiers and 40 civilians had been killed in extremist attacks near the Burkina Faso border, a region already fraught with tension. The Niger government denied the attacks, labeling the BBC report as false and accusing the broadcaster of ulterior motives, suggesting it was part of a larger agenda. Radio France International faced similar accusations from the Nigerian government, further escalating tensions between the state and international media. Critics view the suspension as an attempt to stifle press freedom and control the narrative, raising concerns about the future of independent journalism in the region. Independent media plays a crucial role in holding governments accountable and providing accurate information, especially in areas where transparency is often lacking. The lack of transparency and difficulty in verifying information in conflict zones can create fertile ground for misinformation, making the role of journalists even more critical. The Niger BBC standoff highlights the power dynamics at play, with governments seeking to control the narrative and limit the influence of foreign media. This incident underscores the importance of journalistic integrity, fact-checking, and responsible reporting, which are essential in combating misinformation. In an era of rampant misinformation, media organizations must prioritize accuracy, balance, and fairness to maintain public trust and ensure informed societies. The Niger BBC incident is a symptom of the historical misrepresentation of Africa by Western media, a trend that has persisted for decades. For centuries, Africa has been portrayed through a distorted lens, emphasizing conflict, poverty, and disease. This narrow focus has overshadowed the continent's many achievements and contributions to global culture and history. This one-dimensional portrayal ignores the continent's rich history, cultural diversity, and resilience. Africa is home to vibrant cultures, innovative economies, and a wealth of natural beauty. The roots of this misrepresentation trace back to the colonial era, where media justified exploitation. Colonial powers used media to depict Africa as a land needing Western intervention and control. Images of uncivilized tribes and savage customs were used to legitimize colonial rule. These depictions were far from the truth and served to dehumanize African societies. This colonial legacy continues to influence how Africa is perceived and portrayed in the West. Modern media often falls into the same traps, perpetuating outdated stereotypes. The rise of mass media in the 20th century perpetuated harmful stereotypes. These stereotypes became ingrained in the public consciousness, shaping perceptions for generations. News coverage often focused on sensationalized stories of famine, war, and corruption. These stories, while sometimes true, were not the whole picture. This skewed coverage reinforced a narrative of Africa as a continent in perpetual crisis. It ignored the progress and positive developments happening across the continent. It is imperative to challenge these outdated narratives and provide a more nuanced portrayal of Africa. By doing so, we can foster a more accurate and respectful understanding of this diverse and dynamic continent. Social media platforms have become powerful tools for disseminating information but also breeding grounds for false narratives. The ease of sharing and personalized feeds make social media vulnerable to manipulation. False information can spread rapidly, amplified by algorithms prioritizing engagement over accuracy. In Africa, where internet penetration is increasing, social media is becoming a primary news source. The Niger BBC incident shows how social media can amplify accusations and counter-accusations. Without reliable fact-checking mechanisms, social media users can easily fall prey to misinformation campaigns. This can have a destabilizing effect, fueling ethnic tensions and undermining democratic processes. False reporting and disinformation strike at the heart of democratic societies and hinder progress. They distort the truth, making it difficult for citizens to make informed decisions. Misinformation erodes trust in institutions, undermines public discourse, and creates a climate of fear. This fear can lead to social unrest and instability. In politics, false reporting can manipulate public opinion and sway elections. This manipulation can undermine the democratic process and lead to unfair outcomes. Disinformation campaigns target political opponents, spreading lies to discredit them. These campaigns can damage reputations and alter the course of political careers. This creates polarization and distrust, making constructive dialogue difficult. Communities become divided and finding common ground becomes nearly impossible. False reporting can have devastating consequences for public health, safety, and development. It can lead to panic and poor decision-making during crises. Misinformation about vaccines can lead to decreased vaccination rates and disease outbreaks. This puts entire communities at risk and strains healthcare systems. False information about emergencies can hamper relief efforts and put lives at risk. Accurate information is crucial for effective response and recovery. In an interconnected world, fighting false reporting is a matter of global security and human rights. Ensuring the integrity of information is essential for a just and safe society. Media literacy involves understanding how media works, recognizing biases, and discerning credible sources. It empowers individuals to critically evaluate information and make informed decisions. Fact-checking verifies the accuracy of information before it is shared or published. Promoting media literacy and fact-checking builds a more informed and resilient society. Educational institutions, media organizations, and civil society groups play a role in promoting these skills. A well-informed public is the best defense against misinformation and disinformation. Responsible journalism is the cornerstone of a healthy democracy and an informed society. Journalists must report the truth, hold power to account, and provide accurate information. This requires ethical standards, rigorous fact-checking, and transparency about sources. Informed engagement encourages the public to participate in the democratic process and seek diverse perspectives. By fostering responsible journalism and informed engagement, we can build a more resilient and democratic society. This collective effort requires participation from journalists, educators, policymakers, and citizens alike. Subscribe, share, and engage with our content responsibly to support informed and ethical journalism.